homemade French toast. I will have the recipe down below in the description, and the ingredients you will need to make the homemade bread is vegetable oil, flour, sugar, salt, warm water, and active dry yeast. And now for the ingredients to make homemade French toast. The ingredients to make the French toast are whole milk, ground cinnamon, and 1 large egg. Now let's get started. To start, I have to activate my yeast. However, read the directions for the yeast that you have. I have accidentally done this with self-rising yeast. Anyhow, I make 2 packages of yeast. I made them in 2 separate bowls because I wanted to ensure that the bread loaves rise. I add the sugar stated on the back of the package and the warm water. Next, I add my yeast and wait 5 minutes or until I start seeing the foam. Once the yeast is ready, I combine the 2 activated yeast into 1 large bowl. Then I add the remaining water, sugar, salt, and oil to the activated yeast. I blend the ingredients with a whisk. Then I add a cup at a time of all-purpose flour. If you would prefer, the recipe does say you can use bread flour. I mix the dough after I add each cup of flour. You are going to want to use 5 to 6 cups of flour. I added 5 cups of flour. This is where I made a mistake. I was so stunned. After a bit, I realized I just had to mix the 2 cups of flour into the dough at the same time. In my defense, I had not eaten, and the French toast was going to be my brunch. After mixing in 5 to 6 cups of flour, the dough should be tacky to the touch. Then knead the dough for 7 minutes. Next, coat the bowl with oil. The directions say to oil a new bowl, but I have enough dishes. Turn the dough around in the oiled bowl so that it can be coated with the oil. Then cover it with a damp cloth. I covered the bowl with foil. I did this because I did not have a cloth that was big enough to cover the bowl and the dough, and I didn't want the dough to dry out. Next, I let my dough rest for an hour so that it can double in size in a safe, warmish place. After the dough has rested, take off the cloth. As you see, the cloth I used did not come off easily, but the dough was still good to use. Then, take any frustration you may have and punch the dough. While editing this video, I realized I needed to work on my punches. Then, knead for a minute. Next, divide your dough in half. I weigh my dough so that my loaves of bread can be similar in size after they have baked. I'm using 2 oiled disposable loaf pans. I shape my dough into loaves and place them in the pans. Then I let my dough rise for about half an hour or until the loaves are about 1 inch above the pan. While your loaves are rising, and depending on how long your oven takes to preheat, start preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I do this when I first set my loaves to rise because I am not sure how long it will take for them to rise to about 1 inch above the pan. This will depend on how warm the room is where you are. My loaves took about 20 minutes to rise. Once your oven and loaves are ready, bake for 30 to 40 minutes. This is how the loaves look while they're baking in the oven. Once they are golden brown, take them out of the oven. Let them cool. I leave my loaves in the pans to cool completely. Then brush them with butter and they are ready to eat, or in my case, ready to slice. I make slices that are about half an inch thick. I turn my stove on to medium-low heat and then I prepare my French toast mix. In a small bowl, I crack 1 large egg right out of the fridge. I check for any eggshells. In the same bowl, I pour about 1/4 cup of whole milk. Then I add half a teaspoon of powdered cinnamon. I add more cinnamon later on, but this is entirely up to you. Next, I beat the ingredients together with a fork. The mix is ready to use. Then I dip my slices of bread on both sides in the bowl. I melt a little bit of unsalted butter in my pan. I shake off any excess mixture. Then I cook the French toast at medium-low heat for about 5 minutes on each side. You want to make sure that each side is toasted and golden. I love that sizzling sound. The French toast is ready to eat. And now my favorite part, sampling. Ready to dive in here. Oh yeah. Now I put honey on here because I love honey. I prefer it over syrup. I tried the bread by itself too. Oh, so delicious. That's good. You can really taste the cinnamon. That's why I put extra cinnamon in here. I'm not sure how best to describe this, but it's just simple French toast, easy, and it's just delicious. The bread you can cut any size that you like having Texas toast. And you see the recipe makes about two big size toast. French toast, that is. Ooh, my coffee's done too. Don't tell my husband that I put that much honey. I love French toast. I love bread in general. I did say it already. I tried the bread by itself and oh, so good. I thought 2 teaspoons of sugar might make it a little too sweet, but it was just fine. I'm full, so I have to stop, but this is absolutely delicious. I just love French toast. I hope you try this recipe out. It is simple and delicious. If you enjoyed this video, please sweeten up my day by hitting the like button, and if you really want to give me a sugar rush, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay sweet. Stay sweet. Ooh, my eyes. Contacts are not my friend. Good. Delicious.